Hey there, and welcome to GamePoints episode 123, our little get-together. We talk about the past week gaming news. I am, as always, your host, David Brown, and joining me today is...
I'm David.
Tonight on GamePoints, first I kill the echo because I had my browser up. Told you this is going to be a garbage show right out the gate. Tonight, speaking of garbage, we're going to be talking about President Trump and his weird-ass war on games. We're going to get some Battlefield V rumors. We're going to talk about some... just a whole bunch of just random shit this week.
We're going to talk about a bunch of weird shit, and it's not a lot of shit, so hold on to your hats, folks. It's going to be a quick one.
As always, this is an audio interactive stream, by the way, so if you're watching us live here at twitch.tv/GamePoints, feel free to type into the chat and join in the conversation with any questions, comments, and concerns you may have. Also,
Please,
feel free to
talk to me.
Feel free to like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you're watching us on YouTube at a later date, do the same thing. Put your comments down in the box below. Like, follow, subscribe, all that stay rigmarole.
He'll read them.
Yeah, I'm usually one that takes care of all of that. So, let's go ahead and get right into things and talk about this weird Trump ESRB meeting that was apparently announced last week. I'm going to go ahead and take us over to Glixel for this.
Thanks, Rolling Stone.
Thank you, Rolling Stone. Video game industry unaware of any Trump meeting next week. Neither the ESA nor its members have been contacted by Trump as of Thursday evening. This is from Brian Casente over at Glixel. President Donald Trump may be planning to meet with people from the video game industry next week about violence in video games, but so far no one has been contacted by Glixel, nor the association that speaks for the industry have heard a word about it. The ESRB and our member companies have not received an invitation to meet with President Trump, according to spokesmen for the Entertainment Software Association. This kind of just fits right in with his typical MO, right? Of saying shit and it doesn't actually happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, he hears a thing and then he like knee-jerk reacts to a thing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be true even a little bit.
Right.
I think they've gone through and like done the math and just counted the sheer bold 100% lies told by this man since his inauguration, and it's fucking record-setting for any president.
You know what's terrifying is...
like something that you could Google and prove to be factually wrong.
Yeah. I consider myself a Republican. I'm still a Republican Party. In fact, I would even say I am right-wing.
I would agree with that statement. You're fucking weird.
And yet this man still, like, drives me nuts. Especially, like, it's recent... Yeah, let's not get into to other things. Let's stay on topic. I'm about to go off on a rant on
video games. We don't need to go off the deep end.
He has essentially single-handedly kicked off reignited the moral panic from the 90s. Remember back when...
Jack Thompson.
Yeah, Jack Thompson. And even before then, with Mortal Kombat Night Trap, when Congress more or less came up to the video game industry and said, regulate yourselves or we're going to do it for you. And that's when the ESRB was created, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, I believe it stands for. Back then, you used to have, if you look at like old Super Nintendo and Sega games, sometimes they wouldn't have ratings on there. Other times they would have like K through A and G10 and all these weird. There was no homogeneous collection for ratings. They were just scattered all over the place. But anyways, he fucking comes out and says, oh yeah, I have a meeting scheduled with the SRA or with video game executives, and no one knows what the fuck he's talking about. Well, apparently, as of a few hours ago, that might have changed. Let me see if I can't take us to Kotaku here. Little small article. It looks like it's not quite filling up, but it gives you the gist. This is from Jason Schreier a couple hours ago. The White House has finally sent out invitations to the video game industry for a meeting on Thursday, and the SA says it will attend. Video games are plainly not the issue. Entertainment is distributed and consumed globally, but the U.S. has an exponentially higher level of gun violence than any other nation, said a spokesperson. So, David. What do you think video games have in relation to gun violence? Some link, a little bit of link, no link.
The same amount of link as comic books, rock and roll, the news, the color yellow.
So there have been one or two studies that have shown...
Because there's absolutely nothing that links them. Because here's the thing. Yes, games are way the hell more popular now than they've ever been. However, they are more popular globally. Globally, gun violence has not risen to the extent that it's risen in the United States. So,
but when your country doesn't have
game-
guns, though, can you really safely say that video games... I'm playing devil's advocate, by the way, in case you didn't know. If you ban guns in your country, can we really say that there's still no link between video games and violence?
Oh,
It could be
that's
manifesting
weird.
it somewhere
You're telling
else.
me the countries that don't have any guns aren't having any gun violence? That's a whole nother argument.
Well, it is. However, I can also show you a bunch of countries that have banned guns that have a lot of gun violence still. It's not as clear cut as everyone likes to make it out to be. In my opinion, it's a numbers game, right? So if you have 300 million people in America, around 300 million people, and the vast majority of them are playing games, of course you're going to get one or two weird-ass outliers. Because video games have been linked to aggression, but not violence. And everyone hears aggression and links it to violence. There are two completely separate things when you talk about psychology. We talked about this a couple episodes ago.
Well, the other problem is that the correlation, or what is it? Correlation is not causation?
Yes, correlation does not always necessarily mean it's causative.
Because of the fact that, hey, guess what? I'm willing to bet that a lot of violent people also drink water. Like,
yeah.
This is just, it turns out that, 70% of people that are violent shop at Walmart or Target, or it doesn't it's literally just a made up statistic that's, okay, here's a giant thing that a bunch of people happen to do. Like a fuck ton of people happen to do this. Here's a subset of people. Guess what? A large percentage of them also do that thing because a fuck ton of people do it. It's not complicated.
So this is where I'm going to go, and I'm not trying to make one claim or another.
You got to do what you got to do. Live your dreams.
But you're saying that if a fuck ton of people do or enjoy something, and a small handful of people who also do that thing do something horrible, the thing in question should not be to blame.
I mean, depending on what it is, but more or less, yeah. If you have 90% of people that all do this same thing, and 2% of them do this other thing, take that last 10% that don't do the first thing and see how many of them also do the 2% thing. Like, if 90% of people play video games, 2% of them are violent, that last 10%, how many of them are violent?
Okay, so you're saying that participation in one thing does not necessarily mean you're going to act violently in that thing.
That's what I'm getting at, yes.
Okay. Because what I'm trying to drive at here, and I don't necessarily believe this, but I've heard this idea getting tossed around, I just want to bring it up, is that you just made an example for being pro-Second Amendment. Because if the vast majority of people enjoy guns, and only a small percentage of people use guns violently, that does not mean the gun is the cause.
I mean, technically it's not, because they can kind of just sit on a shelf or in a drawer or in a safe.
And that's my stance on it, right? We like to blame the thing, but not the person.
Like ready access. No, we're getting into a whole nother debate.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that there because I have heard that getting tossed around. It's not something I really necessarily want to get into either, but I just wanted to bring it up real quick. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up is because a lot of the journalists who are saying, "Oh, video games aren't to blame for guns or aren't to blame for violence because Trump's an idiot," are the same journalists who were saying violence in video games leads to violence in real life a couple years ago.
Won't somebody think of the children?
Yeah, exactly. It's all this weird moral panic bullshit, and the point is, you shouldn't trust anyone, including us.
Oh yeah.
Go out. Find the evidence on your own. Look it up. Read it. Read more evidence. Read more evidence. Keep reading. Keep watching. Keep learning. Form your own opinion around it rather than what someone else is telling you, like two jackasses on the internet who think they have a popular Twitch show that no one watches.
Wait, you think that? Because I've never thought that.
And just take a look at things and realize, you know what? Sometimes horrible shit happens, and it's not the thing to blame.
Now,
it's the person to blame.
The thing could be a minor factor, in addition to a whole host of other things.
Well, then if it's a minor factor, you're arguing now that we should take a closer look at video games.
Now I'm being devil's advocate. How's that?
Yeah, fair enough. My stance of it is you don't affect something because you have weird outliers, because you're always going to have weird outliers and you're never going to control all the weird outliers.
Ba-dum-bum.
All right. Before we move on to the next topic, there is one thing I want to mention.
This has been your positive news with GamePoints.
Yeah, and rambling news as well. I understand that we're all over the place on this fucking topic because, well, it's hard not to be all over the place on this topic.
We don't want to get too into the weeds, and so we're like trying to skirt it more or less, but we
Yeah.
can't because we're talking about it, and it's just a really fucking annoying thing to have to
Because
talk about.
no shit, we could spend an entire hour on this one topic alone if we so desired, and I don't want to. But there is one thing.
Probably fill us with rage, and then I'll hang up with you.
There is one more bit of information that was come from this that I do want to mention is that when Trump said he was speaking with executives about video game violence next week, he does actually have a family connection to the video game industry. Let me bring this up right here. So this is the ZeniMax Board of Directors that you're taking a look at right here. And if you look at this list, you can see at the very bottom, Robert S. Trump, President Trump Management Incorporated. His brother sits on the ZeniMax Board of Directors. So this guy, Trump, President Trump, he exaggerates fucking everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if in his mind, he's like, yes, I'm having conversations with people from the video game industry next week. And in his mind, he was like, yeah, I'm going to go talk to my brother.
I'm gonna call him and see what he can do about it.
Because that's some shit that feels like he would do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not... I mean, there it is for you. I was about to say I'm not necessarily going to call him a liar, but then I backed off of that, and it's like, God damn it.
This entire topic is just an eye roll in verbal form.
Yeah. It's this fucking moral panic, won't someone think of the children, that literally, I hate doing the both sides thing, but literally both sides are doing it. Trump's doing it now, and a year ago, the fucking multiple game journalists were going, oh, the violence is leading to people treating women badly. It's like, motherfucker, you are the exact same coin, just opposite sides. Kiss my ass, both of you. Fun fact before we move on to next, so if you take a look at this board of directors here, also included is Jerry Bruckheimer, of all things, and Cal Ripken Jr.
Excellent.
I just found those two names completely out of place on there. More so than even Trump's brother being on there, because at least you makes sense to have Trump's brother part of a board of directors because he's a businessman, and business people are board of directors of random publications all over the place. Mm-hmm. It just seemed weird. Anyways, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think there is any kind of relation between violence and video games? Do you think it's just aggression in video games? Do you think they should be banned? Do you think that they should be defended to the death, or they art, etc.? There's so many ways you can go with this topic, and I'm genuinely curious what you all think about it, so feel free to comment down below.
What's funny is we kind of talked about it last week, and then we're like, okay, good, we got that out of the way, we don't need to talk about this anymore, and then this shit happens, and it's funny.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter, right? Because the Supreme Court has weighed in on this decision. Video games are flat out First Amendment protected. This has been settled. It is settled law. This has been adjudicated. Any infringement on restricting video games to sell, or having the government regulate shit like that as far as the content of video games, is protected under First Amendment. Which kind of rolls into the next topic tertiarily, tangentially, I should say.
In the vaguest of senses.
In the vaguest
fact
of
that
senses.
We're still talking about video games.
Yeah. Video games in government overreach specifically. So for the past couple months, loot boxes and microtransactions have been like a fucking lightning rod.
Microtransactions again.
And it has drawn the eye of some governmental figures. And no one wants that. Remember I mentioned earlier in the show about the 90s when the government said, sort your house out or we're going to do it for you. So they created the ESRB.
And we talked about this when what was it, the governor of Hawaii or somebody's like, you guys need to get this together. And then
I think he was a state representative. He wasn't the governor.
It was something.
But they have... It's scary when government starts going, hey, we're going to fucking do shit. Because the most terrifying thing you ever want to hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Oh, that's funny.
So the ESRB, remember that ratings board that I was talking about earlier, has come out and said, hey, we are going to add in an extra modifier to our ratings. Now, you know when you look at the back of a video game and you see in the corner it says like M or teen and all that. But next to that, you'll see a bunch of descriptors like violence, blood and gore, sexual content, nudity, tobacco, and alcohol. they're going to add an extra one into it. And this is from their Twitter. Let me pop that right up there. They tweeted out this message a couple days ago. You may have noticed that we've been a little quiet on the topic of in-game purchases and loot boxes, but we've been listening. In fact, we've absorbed every tweet, email, Facebook post, and singing telegram sent our way. By the way, guys, don't be funny. This is a serious fucking topic. When you do shit like this, it devalues what you're trying to say. And we've been working to develop a central approach to let gamers and parents know when a game offers the option to purchase additional content. Soon, the ESRB will begin assigning a brand new label to physical games. In-game purchases. We're going to stop right here real quick. This is only going to be on physical games, it sounds like, if we're following them. So all that free-to-play shit, where the plague really is, not so much.
Well, where's the ESRB rating on a free-to-play game that you download from a website?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll play.
They don't have one in the first place.
Keep in mind, you don't have to go through the ESRB to get a lot of your shit published, anyways. If you want to sell it in a store, you're going to have to. But there's
the ESRB is a thing, but
it's not mandatory.
By and large, they kind of just watch physical media.
It's voluntary. It is absolutely voluntary to get into the ESRB, to have an ESRB rate your game. Going on. This label, or as we call it, interactive element, will appear on boxes and wherever goes games can be downloaded. So, okay, they're going to have them on the website. So I should have read the whole thing before I jumped on that. Well, for all games that offer the ability to purchase digital goods or premiums with real-world currency. This includes features like bonus levels, skins, surprise items such as item packs, loot boxes, mystery rewards, music, virtual coins, and other forms of in-game currency, subscriptions, season passes, upgrades, and more. We're also launching a new website, parentaltools.org, to help raise awareness of the helpful tools that parents can use to manage the amount of time and money those crafty kids spend playing games. Once again, don't be fucking funny, just get right to the point. This is the first step of many, and we'll continue to discuss how to further enhance our rating system with publishers, developers, gamers, and especially parents, and we will continue to make adjustments as the need arises. Thank you for all your patience on this, and your love for the games we rate. I call bullshit.
You call bullshit?
Yes.
On this stopgap Band-Aid measure?
Well, it's worse than that. Name me a game that doesn't have some form of in-game purchase these days.
Into the Breach.
Fair enough, but that's in the minority. In-game purchases aren't the problem. Loot boxes specifically and the gambling mechanic is the problem.
Ding ding, that's the thing that everybody's mad about. That's the reason that Battlefront 2 did shittily.
This is a way to say you're doing something without actually doing something at all.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to actually follow just these games that have the gambling mechanic. Any game that allows you to spend extra money on it is going to have our label, thus making the label useless.
Absolutely. It's pointless. And they just say, oh, there's in-game purchases. That's a real nice fucking way of saying there's gambling. Once again, I don't have no problem with gambling. What I have a problem with is when you fucking do it in such a manipulative way.
I wonder if they're going to retroactively apply this rating to, like, Oblivion on the original Xbox.
The old horse armor?
Because that would
That's
count.
a good question.
Technically, that counts under this rating, even though that's not even a little bit what everybody's mad about.
Yeah, that's a good question if they're going to retroactively pull it back. Like, is Star Wars Battlefront 2 going to have it slapped on there?
Maybe when they print new editions, but I don't feel like they're printing
in-game purchases sounds very non-predatory, right? It sounds nice. It's a nice way to dress it up. And I'm not saying they need to put a giant, like, slot machine on the back of their video games or anything like that. But this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing to it. I would rather you have just done nothing. Because this feels like you're just pussyfooting around the topic and going, oh, here's a bone. It's like, motherfucker. I would at least rather you prefer to come out and say, we're not going to do anything about it. And be done with it. Because I know the ESRB's official stance is loot boxes aren't gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the technical definition.
Yeah, where you have to be able to lose and get nothing.
And do you know why they hold on to that? Because if they actually call it gambling, then you get federally regulated. And no one wants that. So they're trying to skirt around the issue as much as humanly possible.
Also, kids aren't supposed to gamble.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're gonna. I had something more. I had something far more clever to say, and I just
worst rebuttal in the history of rebuttal.
I just fucking blanked on it.
Oh man, you're bad at this.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm garbage tonight.
That was great. Proud of you.
This I am. This is such a non-response. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's not really news.
And then they also do like the hello fellow kids fucking meme with Steve Buscemi there going, haha, singing telegrams and we could be hip and cool and make jokes in our statement. You're not fucking Wendy's, dude.
That's
you can't
true.
get away with
It's not time to be edgy.
Yeah, you can't get away with like Twitter humor when you're talking about this. This shit's serious.
You can say at this point in time, all we are adding is the in-game purchases descriptor. We're looking into further descriptors if we want to break this down into what kind of in-game purchases. But at this time, we're only adding this label.
Yeah, it's.
You can have a nice day.
They did say that there could be more steps to come. I don't know if it's going to happen because remember the ESA, which is I believe. Let me actually look this up. I want to look this up before I actually make this fucking claim.
Make it. Just do it.
ESRB. We're going to go to the grand source of information known as Wikipedia here.
Oh.
Okay, so here we go. The ESRB was founded by the ESRA, or rather the ESA. That's the Entertainment Software Association. You know who fucking makes up the ESA? Their members include Capcom, Electronic Arts, Microsoft, Activision, Sony Interactive Entertainment, Square Enix, Take-Two Interactive, Ubisoft, aka the motherfuckers putting the loot boxes in games to begin with. So you're asking the people who have made literally, in the case of Take-Two with Grand Theft Auto, billions of dollars a year on on loot boxes to regulate loot boxes. It ain't gonna happen. It's a fucking joke. And I would rather they be honest and tell us to kiss off than package it up like this.
That's fair.
David?
Yeah. You want to call him?
Let's talk about something a little bit more lighthearted. Let's get into some rumors about sound actually kind of cool.
All right. Well, how about the fact that potentially the next Battlefield is gonna follow Call of Duty back to World War II?
Good. I'm fucking glad.
Battlefield 1, I mean, I know not a ton of people play it. Well, I feel like a decent amount play it, but I thought the game was rad. Like, the opening campaign to Battlefield 1 was phenomenal.
I think it actually sold more than Call of Duty did this year. I need to double check than Call of Duty did that year, because Battlefield 1 came out the same year Advanced Warfighter did.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
I don't know how many people still play it. I don't know if that's what you're getting at, but when it came out, a lot of people were fucking on that game.
I don't know how much legs the game had, I guess, but I thought that game was phenomenal. Going back to World War I is a really cool idea, in my opinion, and it made the game just interesting. And they just, I don't know, it was spooky almost to be on that battlefield. Like, you felt like anarchy was around you.
The intro was amazing. Where I want to say it was the Harlem Hellfighters. I could be wrong on that, but it's you're playing like multiple characters in a quick amount of time because you'll play it for like 2 minutes and then you'll fucking just get killed, and then you play another guy and then dead.
Yep.
And
that
was
you can kind of get an idea of what that campaign is going to bring you to.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the rest of the campaign didn't live up to the intro, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it was good. It was good.
Now we're talking about Battlefield 5 because they can't just call it Battlefield 2.
That's
that shit
very
came
true.
out already. So they actually were calling it Battlefield 2, or like internally for a while. But yeah, they're talking about bringing it back to World War II for the first time since 1943, which is still one of the best Battlefield games.
I like to mention that this article does come from VentureBeat, by the way, that you're looking at right now.
Thanks, Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, Jeff Grubb. So I think I know why they're calling it Battlefield Roman numeral.
Why are they calling it Battlefield Roman numeral?
If you look at the other Battlefield games, it goes like 1, 2, 1942, 2042, or something like that, and it goes on. So they never use Roman numerals. But in World War II, the big thing was like the V for victory. Sorry, guarantee you, the marketing for this is going to turn the V sign in there into like a propaganda poster for V for victory. I guarantee you that. Or it's going to be Battlefield Victory is what they're going to end up calling it.
I can see that.
Like that's setting their marketing for this shit happens before the game is even designed almost. And I guarantee you some PR firm is like, oh yeah, this is going to work. It's going to be Battlefield 5. It's going to have victory at the end of it. You're going to see like the red spray painted logo, not like the 80s TV show, which is amazing. But anyways, that's why they're calling it this. I will bet dollars to donuts. That is why it's Battlefield. Technically, it says 5 on there, but I don't think I've actually heard anyone pronounce it, and it's still a rumor, so they could say Battlefield V.
That's true. Also, to go back, Battlefield 1 it was actually the second best-selling game of 2016. Call of Duty did beat it, though.
By how much?
I don't have the actual numbers. I'm just looking at the MPD group list.
Okay. Good to know either way, but still, I remember Battlefield going hard at Call of Duty this year, and then when their trailers came out on YouTube, for all this is worth, Infinite Warfare got downvoted to oblivion, whereas Call of Duty or Battlefield 1 was very well received. So, yep. I mean, there's a reason why Call of Duty went back to World War II, right? Anyways, Battlefield 5V, whatever, expect to hear more of that as we get closer to E3. Battlefield W2, they should just call it that.
They're just going to add another V and then throw it next to it, and then add 2 more Vs and throw those next to it, and then add a 2. Just call it Battlefield World War II.
VVV2?
Yeah.
Because you put the Vs together, it makes... God damn it. Oh, I fucking... that. No. Yep. I hate this. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic there, David. Back to something a little bit more depressing. It sounds like over the past few days, NISA, Nipponichi Software America, had a pretty massive data breach. This is via Nintendo Everything. Let me bring this up here. NIS America store suffers from data breach, posted on March 1st. NIS America sent out emails tonight regarding a data breach that took place on the company's online store. The breach took place between January 23rd and February 26th of this year, affecting those who placed orders using credit cards. PayPal users were not impacted. It's not good. So this is where I don't want to sound snarky, but I kind of hate to say this, but really I don't think all that many people were affected because, let's face it, NISA...
How many people were actually buying stuff directly from NIS America's online store?
Exactly. That said, if you were buying something between January 23rd and February 26th, that's when the data breach took place. So anything before then, and who knows how long the data stretches back. In fact, let me see if I can find out the article here real quick. Either way, it might behoove you to change some information or just do what I do and watch your finances like a hawk, because accept the fact that data breaches happening everywhere all the time.
Constantly.
We are all fucked. And if the Equifax breach didn't teach you that we're all fucked, I don't know what will.
Mm-hmm.
Your data is out there. Sorry.
Everywhere.
That fucking
readily
sucks.
Accessible to anybody that wants it.
You can track, if you're devoted enough, you can track down anyone and for like $10 pay some Russian hacker to get someone's name, address, credit card information, social security information, job work history. That is the price we pay to have internet everywhere now.
The only safe way to be it is to cancel all things, take your paychecks to an actual cash like for checks shop, and just to have cash at all times.
No, I would argue not even then, because you were born with a social security card.
Mm-hmm.
So the cold hard fact of the matter is,
I'm talking about like not even having a bank account, like not having a credit card. So even if someone takes your stuff, like, what do you
doesn't matter. You have a social security number. They can take that and open up things in your name. You're fucked. This isn't even an America problem. If you're watching us globally, if you're watching us in Germany, if you're watching us in Japan, if you're watching us in South Africa, you're fucked. Regardless of what you're doing, we are now in a time where anyone can be anyone else. And we just have to accept the fact that data breaches...
like cool, like sci-fi version of that story, like the really shitty, like gritty sci-fi version of that story.
Yeah, the dystopian version. And as much as some people might want to go, fucking NSA not taking care of my data, what can they do, really? We're all fucked. Data breaches are going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it.
This has been fun.
Because it's the better mousetrap, right? no matter what you do to build a better mousetrap, there's going to be a bigger mouse that comes on and smashes through it. It's a never-ending fight. It's not a fight that we should surrender, but just accept the fact that someone has your data. If not from NISA, then from Equifax, then from a government hack, then from the fucking spoof card ATM reader they slap on a gas station. Remember when the PSP could fucking wirelessly download a credit card transactions?
Remember when those guys hacked a car remotely and drove it off?
Yeah, it's
like,
it is so bad, and you just have to calm down and take a breath and realize that there is nothing you can do. Just watch your finances like a hawk, and it's gonna suck if your number comes up. It is kind of like playing roulette. It's like the shittiest lottery.
Oh,
and
man,
and
we are motivational today.
Yeah, someone's gonna come up like fucking double green zero, and your life is going to be chaos for a while. The best thing you can do is just prepare for it.
As much as I enjoy you repeatedly saying you're fucked over and over and over again, I'm changing the subject. Let's talk about not that.
All right, let's talk about something a little bit more positive.
Let's talk about the fact that Capcom's press release from March 5th, which was early today, says that Monster Hunter World has shipped 7.5 million units, thus making it the best-selling title in Capcom's history. Period. Yes, that means that Monster Hunter World has sold more than all of the Resident Evil games. It's sold more than, Devil May Cry.
Not all of them combined. It's
I didn't say that.
No, but I just want to stress that in case someone... You know how the internet is. People fucking hear what they want and run with it.
I mean, at no point did I actually say that, but okay, I'm fine with that.
Thank you. I grew up myself.
If you want to get mad about that, how about the fact that combined, the Monster Hunter series has cumulative sales of more than 48 million units? How's that?
That's a lot. That actually might be more than Resident Evil. I just don't know for certain.
But as a single standalone title, Monster Hunter World is doing gangbusters.
7.5 million units for a niche...
console-only game.
A niche-only title, currently console-only, not even on the Switch yet, and is Japanese throughout. It's not JRPG nuts, but it's... What was that?
And it's still got the PC release.
Yeah. It is impressive how well this title has been doing, considering how well this title used to do in America. It was always big overseas, but this is like its big breakthrough title. This is Monster Hunter's Persona 4. To relate to something else that people were kind of lukewarm about, and all of a sudden, bam, that entry comes out and they have it everywhere. At this point, it is not a matter of if, but when we get a Switch game. And no, I'm not counting Monster Hunter XX, which only came out in Japan for the Switch. I'm not even talking about them porting that over to America. I guarantee you they are making a Switch-compatible Monster Hunter right now. Like, they'd be stupid not to. Yes? No?
I thought they were making Monster Hunter XX for Switch.
They made it for Switch. It released in Japan. But
like, I don't think they're gonna put World on Switch.
No, it will be a Switch. It will be specifically a Switch title.
That will happen, but this game I don't see going there.
And XX, or Generations, the port of Generations, did come out on Switch in Japan. But I don't think they're going to be porting that over. No, I don't think so, because Capcom was such an ass about telling people they're not going to bring that game over. If they were to do it now suddenly, it would look like they were kind of backtracking and eating crow. What I think is that they'll give us some kind of, if not an enhanced port of something else, then a game tailored for the Switch from the ground up.
That's fair.
And you know what? I don't want that. Let me rephrase that. I am fine with them doing that, but it's not a game that I want. What was that?
I don't want to go back to like a portable style.
No, that's what kept me from playing Monster Hunter to begin with, because I hated the way it felt in my hands. I was always intrigued by Monster Hunter, but I never played it because I was on Vita or PSP or DS, and it was never something that clicked and grabbed me. Now that it's back on console, hell yes. And I do attribute a lot of these sales and its now new popularity to just how popular the Soulsborne games have been. Because it gave American audiences the taste of extremely long boss fights that are skill based as opposed to button mashing. Do you agree?
I am with you, but I'm firmly in the Monster Hunter came first camp, and that everybody should have realized this shit was a long time ago.
Not saying that Monster Hunter didn't come first, and you were right.
I attribute my love of the Dark Souls games to my love for Monster Hunter, but I understand that now new players and kids that are probably fuck tons younger than me love this game because of Dark Souls. I get it.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that thing where Monster Hunters is the Dark Souls of Jurassic Park or anything like that. But I honestly think there is a lot to be said here that Dark Souls kind of gameplay, not of the vast, winding worlds, but if you fuck up, you're going to die.
People like challenge where you can learn and overcome.
Yes, and if you fuck up in Monster Hunter, it is because you fucked up.
Than a lot of other games can be. I mean, think of the challenge of like the newer Call of Duties, and what was it, like 3 years ago there was a Call of Duty where you could legit not press any buttons.
Yeah, there was
slowly beat the campaign levels.
What it was, and I want to say it was Black Ops 1 or 2, there was a riverboat sequence that was essentially a rail shooter in Vietnam, and the person who's playing it literally set the controller down and the entire game just played itself, and that entire stage was just beaten and you didn't fire a single button. So there's a craving for this, and it's nice to see these games who have been around forever. Monster Hunter is PlayStation 2, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a series that's been around forever. It's good to see them coming out hard, and I'm glad Capcom's getting some love here. So that's always nice to see, because Capcom, I'm always worried about them, right? They always feel like they're a bad decision away from completely closing. So hopefully
they've been doing a lot better.
Well,
I mean this year specifically.
Yeah, let's not discount the disaster that was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
3 months, which discounts that. Over the past 7 days, Capcom hasn't fucked up.
I know, it's so exciting.
I haven't heard of them making any kind of major mistake today.
Man, we're so generous with this praise. Good job, guys. We're proud of you.
But yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's pretty obvious Monster Hunter Switch game will be coming out, not a matter of if, but when. However, David.
Yes.
When they actually get on top of that, it's still going to be months before it finally drops on the Switch. But if I wanted to play something today, this week, what could I play?
Do you have a computer?
Yes.
Do you have a PlayStation or an Xbox?
Yes, I have both.
You could play Final Fantasy 15 again. So Final Fantasy 15 has got a Windows edition that comes out tomorrow, which is like the PC version of that game. But it also, at the same day, has the Royal Edition launching for PS4 and Xbox One. Now, the fact that the like PC version isn't like the Royal version or the final version, and it's not just like, here's the definitive edition of the game that's coming out for everything at once. They're like two different things. Like, it's Final Fantasy 15 fucking computer edition, and then Final Fantasy 15 complete comes out for consoles.
And they're still releasing more content for Final Fantasy 15, by the way.
Yeah,
just because it's the Royal...
It's not even complete. Like, this Royal Edition includes a new dungeon, a new map, some new features like a first-person mode, extra gear, new bosses, a new scene, and all the Season Pass content. But...
not all the stuff that's still coming out.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, with full acknowledgement of this statement going to Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny Games... take a look at them, Kind of Funny Games. Yeah, Twitch TV/Kind of Funny Games. He said possibly the greatest line to Final Fantasy 15 I've heard as far as its stupid fucking content release schedule. He said that Final Fantasy 15 went from the game that was never going to come out to the game that never stops coming out.
That is very, very true.
Because they are still releasing important story content that helps explain shit that's going on to this day. I played Final Fantasy 15 for about 12 hours and then went, you know what? I'm just fucking putting this aside until all the shit comes out so I don't have to go through and replay it again. That was a year ago, and I have yet to go back to that game yet because they keep releasing actual important story shit to explain what's going on in that game. Final Fantasy 15 was clearly released way too early. Like, they just had to get that shit out because it was delayed so often, and they're like, okay, we can't fucking sit on this anymore because you're going to start having talk of the new generation consoles coming out. You have PS5 and whatever the fuck the new Xbox is going to be, and I'm convinced we'll see both of those in a year and a half. They can't wait on this anymore. We have to push it out. We have to get it out. Fuck it, we'll patch in the story later.
Well, anyway, you could buy that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, the thing is, I like Final Fantasy 15. I liked what I've played of it. I'm just so salty in how its release has been treated.
Well, you can buy it again.
I wonder if they have an upgrade pack.
Who knows? I don't care. Also coming out this week is Bravo Team for PSVR. This is actually put together by Supermassive. Those kids that do things that are fun.
Supermassive did, I believe, Until Dawn, The Inpatient, Until Dawn Blood Abroad. Let me double check that just to make 100%
But they're making a teamwork based PSVR game, so it's got single player and online 2-player co-op where you and your teammate you must use everything at your disposal to survive. Like, you can split up, you can choose who takes a weapon or not. What can you see? Like, you work out stuff to try and kind of figure out your way out of a city. Basically, you're in a fictional Eastern European city. You're on an escort mission. Shit goes tits up, and you have to figure out your way to live.
I'm glad that we're still seeing some big games coming out in PSVR. Moss, which came out recently, is really kicking ass from what I understand. As far as critics go, I don't know about sales, but that game is apparently really goddamn good.
It looks pretty cool, actually. The more I look at it, the more I'm intrigued by it.
I need to actually pull that thing out again. I've been kind of holding off till Ace Combat comes out for that son of a bitch, but I don't think we're going to see Ace Combat even this year. It keeps getting delayed. It keeps pissing me off.
That's fair. Well, also coming out, we have Warhammer Vermintide 2 hits this week.
Game is amazing.
Comes out on, I think, Friday.
Friday or Thursday, March 8th, so maybe a Thursday. Yeah. I don't know if that...
sequel to Vermintide. This is the Left 4 Dead style game set in the Warhammer Fantasy universe where you fight hella rats, playing as some really cool classes. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You don't need to be a Warhammer fan to get into it. It's just a damn fun game in general.
It is a melee-focused Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is you're not running around looking for shotgun ammo. You're just slashing and punching and dicing your way through all these evil killer rats.
Yeah, this one's still set in the end times version of Warhammer Fantasy, by the way. For those of you who play the tabletop game, they kind of nuked the world and rebuilt it. This is before any of that. It's still when the world was crumbling. Also, instead of just... You have Skaven everywhere. These are the rat people. They also added in some chaos elements, too. There's a bunch of cultists and warriors running about, and they seem to be of the Nurgle variety.
Dun-dun! If you have no idea what that means, you can still play it, because the game's fun.
I've been playing the beta. It's fun. The game is improved significantly on the first one. The first one had a lot of issues, a lot of weird quirks. Still fun, but not quite polished. This seems to have taken care of a lot of those issues ahead.
And finally, a game coming out that I didn't expect to ever come out. I swear that I had this as a prediction like 2 years ago, but it was like a joke throwaway prediction because I assumed it was never going to happen. But Square is publishing a bona fide third game in the Fear Effect series, Fear Effect Sedna. Now, when I say it's in the series, take that with a grain of salt, because while, yes, it is in the same story with the same characters, it is not really a true sequel, at least from a gameplay perspective. The old games had like that Resident Evil tank style control where you kind of run around like shot bad guys. This is like an isometric real-time tactical game.
Yeah, it's made by Sushi. There's a guy's development, but it's being published by Square Enix. You know, I could be wrong on this, but I could have sworn that this developer, the small developer, actually just went up to Square Enix and said, "Hey, can we do something with your license?" And they just agreed to it.
This is actually part of Square's. They have like an initiative or some kind of program to let like smaller producers use some of their old licenses to make games.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's like EA's like games whatever program. I don't remember the name of that either. But their indie game program where they can like sponsor content and then a game will eventually come
EA
out.
Partners?
Yes, that's what this is, but Square.
So yeah, I remember enjoying the Fear effects despite their many, many, many faults. But just something about them I really liked.
Just like the original Resident Evil. Yes, those games were awesome, but the control scheme sure as hell wasn't why.
Yeah, I just something about them I really appreciate it. No, it wasn't all the overt lesbian content in them either. I mean, like just exploitative.
It had like a darker storyline. It was like a very mature themed game, in that you're like just playing like assassins, and there's all this intrigue, and
it went kind of Shadowrunny with it too. That there was actual legitimate. It was somewhat high tech future. So like think 30 years down the road.
Yeah, and it was also like vaguely James Bondy.
Yeah, but they also threw in like
at
demons.
The time, it had some really good like cell shaded cutscenes before that was even a little bit the rage.
Yeah, there was a lot right with the Fear Effects series, but it got a lot wrong. So I'm kind of glad to see this coming back. It doesn't seem to be doing too well, unfortunately, but I do want to take a look at this.
Yeah, I'm interested just to kind of know what happens, but looking at the gameplay, it's a real hard sell for me.
Yeah, same here. I think I actually have Fear Effect 1 and 2 floating around somewhere. I remember they controlled like ass back then. I don't even want to imagine what they feel like now.
I played the first Fear Effect, and then I actually found a copy of Fear Effect 2 at like a Best Buy or something that for whatever reason they had put like a $5 or $6 sticker on. And
Sounds
so I
about
took
right.
it to the front counter. And I said, I would like to give you $6 for this. And they're like, well, that's not how much this game costs. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's the price tag? And like won the day and managed to buy that game for $6. Took it home, beat it. Like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, however long it took to beat the game. Took it to GameStop, exchanged it for like $40 because it was still a brand new game at that time. And used the money to buy Threads of Fate.
That's probably a good decision.
And that's how I got Threads of Fate for PS1.
So yeah, Fear Effect Sedna, a franchise that I thought was long dead. I'm kind of glad to see that come back. I'm
more excited on the idea that some of these old Square games could be coming back from like an indie studio. Can we maybe get another Parasite Eve?
Parasite Eve isn't as dead as you think, because they did release Parasite Eve the third birthday.
I'm aware of the fact that there was a portable Parasite Eve game. However,
it was also kind of ass.
Games don't count.
Yeah, Parasite Eve was actually really bad. Parasite Eve third birthday was bad.
On console. All those Monster Hunter games didn't count. I wanted the console game.
What else does Square have in its annals? Oh, you know what? I want to see Legacy of Kain come back.
Yep.
They did that weird-ass free-to-play Nosgoth game that was kind of like a battle. That was horrible. No, I don't want that. I want actual, like, a Soul Reaver, the Defiant style Legacy of Kain back. And god damn it, track down Simon Templeman to do the voice again. Let's see, what else does Square have that I might be into again? See, it's so hit and miss with Square, because I like that they're doing this, but they just released that Chrono Trigger port on PC, and it's fucking ass.
Well, because there's that whole part of Square where they literally just rehash games. So we want new games based on old franchises, not these really shitty quote-unquote, like, well, they're not even remasters, remakes. They don't call them that. They're just re-releasing fucking mobile games on Steam.
Yeah.
And their mobile games are $20 for no reason.
Let's take a look. I want to take a look at the old IDOS catalog here.
But the other one I think for me would be Thief.
They tried doing Thief recently. They tried rebooting it, and it flopped on its face. That series is dead.
Somebody do something proper. Well, Legacy King would be a good one.
Get some Anachronics back. That'd be good. It's an adventure game. I think you can find it on Steam right now for like $2. That'd be nice to get. This is taking too long. I'm not really seeing it. Oh, you know who? I wonder if they still own this. Hold on. You'll be very excited for this. I want to find out if they actually own this franchise still. Who owns this franchise? Ooh, that's not good.
They can make another Keenan Lynch.
You know who used to own IDOS for a hot second?
Who?
Or you know what IDOS used to own for a hot second, rather? Time Splitters.
Oh my god.
However, apparently that got transferred to EA for a while, and now the people who own it, Crytek.
Aww.
I know, you're not going to get anything from that. Apparently Crytek owns the Time Splitters franchise still.
Time Splitters 2 and Future Perfect were both phenomenal games.
Yes, I agree. Anyways, that
Future
is...
Perfect, I think, had one of the best like story-based co-op first-person shooter campaigns of any game from that generation.
I remember the end to Future Perfect and being super impressed with the fact that you actually loop time 4 or 5 different times and you keep running into yourself. And it ends with like 4 or 5 of you just standing around and wondering what the hell to do. And I was like, okay, this is nice.
Oh man, that was such a great game.
I'd like to see a Time
remember
Splitters movie
playing
with Vin Diesel.
So much multiplayer.
Anyways, I think that's going to wrap things up. That's kind of the big new releases coming out this week. You, of course, have your bevel of shit on Steam if you really want to wade through that too hard. And
Or
Switch
you can
has a
always
big
check
imports as well.
The Nintendo Switch store for just tons of crap.
Yeah.
Probably some mobile games.
And I think that does it, David.
Yeah, I'm tired.
This has been GamePoints episode 123. As always, you can watch us live here at twitch.tv/GamePoints every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are an audience interactive podcast, so feel free to join in the chat whenever we're live. And if you can't happen to watch us live, tune into our YouTube page. Just type in GamePoints one word and we pop right up and watch the episodes there. Regardless of where you happen to watch, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, ask any questions, comments, concerns, what you'd like to be talked about in the show, and I do try to get back to you when I can. If you want to follow the show, you can do so at GamePoints PC on Twitter. You can follow us individually. I am your host, Stephen Brown, at CapitalistPig21, and that over there is David Smith at Palstrife_Story. Without further ado, this has been GamePoints, and we're out of here.